know where you're at. Seattle Connected, the show that connects you with entrepreneurs, business people, movers and shakers in our community. We let you know who they are before they become household names, which we know they soon will be. With me today is my special guest, and she pretty much does it all. She wants to make sure that she conveys the message that you're trying to send to a loved one, a friend, a colleague, whether you're just being supportive, whether it's a special occasion, or you just want to say hi. And she does it with style and passion. She has a love for creating as well. So please welcome my guest, Miss Chisa.
Ooh, I'm hyping myself up on that
Okay.
one.
Was the intro okay? I have to ask. I always ask.
You know, I kind of felt like I might be underwhelming in this conversation because that was so good with the lead in.
Thank you.
But I think that you captured the essence of building community.
Yes.
And connecting people is really important to me.
Yes.
So I'm Chisa O'Quinn.
Okay.
I'm with Repurpose Living, and I talk about purpose all the time.
Yes. Yes. That's important.
It is.
It's very important.
Do you know what your purpose is?
I don't. Not yet.
We had this conversation.
Yes. Well, yeah. I'm working on that. But it'll come. You know, just don't give up on me, people. Don't give up on me. I'm working hard for you guys.
Well, a question that you asked me, just because it was something that I've been thinking about for a few days to make sure I didn't forget it.
Okay.
And you asked me what was my purpose.
Yes.
And I might be throwing off your questions a little bit.
No, you're not. This is about you.
But I've been thinking about it intentionally, and mine is that I'm a capacity builder, and I really have an interest in people really building out their gifts, strengths, and talents. And that shows up in multiple different ways. And oftentimes people ask me, like, where did that name come from, Repurpose Living? And I say it's about how stuff has happened to us in our life.
Yeah.
And how do you take what's happened and repurpose it to make sense for you now and moving forward and finding out what your next steps are. So I wanted to make sure that my purpose was to make sure I told my purpose today.
Okay.
I had to say purpose 3 times. Did you hear that?
Purpose. No, you did so eloquently. I didn't even notice it. Purpose. I'll say it again. I was going to ask you who came up with the name or how did you come up with the name, but you kind of explained that.
You know, because I'm a little later seasoned, and I have worked in the field of disabilities for a very long time, specifically around supported employment and finding employment for people with developmental disabilities. And so I think when I started to figure out how do I use that experience for something different, because it was time for a shift for me, then I said, hey, what's my new purpose? How do I take what I've used before? And it just felt like we often want to throw away parts of ourselves. And I actually think we need to embrace every part of ourselves, the stuff that's ugly, the stuff that's good, and you repurpose it, you repackage it, you make it be a new experience, a new collection for yourself. So that's where the name came from.
Wow. That's powerful. I feel like I've learned so much in such a small amount of time. Now I feel like I'm ready to take on the world.
And you didn't even have a coaching session yet.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got to sign up for that.
You do.
Yes, please fit me in your schedule. So let's talk about the boxes, man.
Yes.
Question I have for you. Do you have everything already like pre-arranged or like made and you just give out everybody the like same type of thing? I know it's not true, but I had to ask it that way because there's so many options. Like when I first met you and I said, hey, I want to get a box. You actually asked me like, okay, well, who's it for? What, you know, these are your options. And I was like, that's kind of cool. Because it's like you cater to the person's, I guess, personality or their, you know, connection with you. So how do you go about doing that? Like you get in your zone and...
Excellent question. So where I started and where I primarily sell from is online.
Okay.
So the intention is that you can go onto my website and I will have boxes that have already been made.
Okay.
And you may or may not find a box that fits your needs. So if you do, you can order it and I'll either ship it directly to you or I can ship it to someone else. And I typically will ask you to give me a message that I can send along with the box. In the summer months when there's a lot of vending opportunities, then I'm in person and I come with boxes already made. So, for example, you and I met and you said, hey, I have something else in mind, and then you contacted me.
Right.
And I typically will say, what is your budget and what is your interest? And then I'll try to find items to create a box for you. And then once you've had an opportunity to look at the box and say, yes, I approve of that, then then we move forward from there. So I think there's part they're already made, and then part I can custom make them for you.
Nice. Do you enjoy, kind of custom making?
I
boxes?
absolutely do.
You absolutely
I whispered that,
do.
didn't I?
Yes. Yeah, and then kind of seeing the reaction you get from the customer. Is that kind of rewarding?
It is. And, this all started because I'm a thrifter, and I kept finding things that other people were going to throw away. And I was amazed at quality items were showing up in places where I felt like, hey, somebody should take this home.
Yeah.
And I also believe that connects back to my experience with working with people with a disability. Like, I fully believe in inclusion and an opportunity for them to work and be gainfully employed and be a part of our community. But other people in our community still don't see that, and they see them as throwaway people, right? So I've always been a collector of items that other people don't find value in, and then how do you put those things together? So I get super excited if I find items in random places. I hold on to them, and then I put them together and make a beautiful collection.
This is true. I was going to ask you how you say inspired, but once again, you answered the question before I could ask
Sorry.
it. No, and I can tell you really enjoy what you're doing.
I do.
Or else you wouldn't be doing it, right?
No, because it is definitely, in this season of my life, I think it's a paid hobby. When you started off and you said all those wonderful labels, and I was thinking about the spirit of entrepreneurship, and like you step into places, not always knowing where you're going to be, but you have the energy and the curiosity and the sense of innovation that I want to do something different and fresh than maybe I've seen before.
Yeah.
And I think that is the part that shows up for me, is that I think I'm a true entrepreneur. Like, I get really curious. And I'm a yes person, right? So when opportunities come, I say yes and I jump, and then I figure it out as I go. So I think this business gives me that opportunity to do that. And I think one of the things that you don't know about me is that this is the third arm of a three-arm business. So one part of it is equity consulting.
Okay.
And then the third part is that I'm a coach. So I typically work with women who are in some type of transition in their life. And so how do they find purpose after they've maybe been a parent and now they're an empty nester, or they're looking for a new career? So this is the third piece of my trilogy.
Wow. Man, you're awesome.
I think so too.
You're awesome. No, I had no idea. That's so cool. And, you're centering your life around helping others in their lives. And I think that's cool. And when you get to see someone, go from one step to another and, find out their own purpose, it makes it that much rewarding. It's like the ultimate pat on the back when you can step out and say, you know what? I'm going to take time for someone else, help them grow. And you see that growth and you're like, it was worth it. It was a lot of work, but it was worth it. And I can tell you really love what you do, beyond the boxes, which they're available right now. You should go on our website.
In fact, I just made 30 new boxes.
What?
I haven't even had time to post them online
30?
yet. I made 30 boxes. So
Really?
that is what I've been doing for the last 2 days, because I actually sold out at the last event I attended.
I was just about to ask you, how many would you, if you just had to guesstimate, how many boxes would you say that you have sold so far?
So I have officially been in this part of my business for, I think it is 13 months, and I probably have sold over 100 boxes.
Wow.
Yeah, and I have had some businesses who have purchased them for employees. So I've done some where I've sold more than 10 or 15 at a time.
Yeah.
I typically get 1 or 2 orders at a time online.
Okay.
And then this vending season, I think I've done 6 pop-up events, some of which, I learned more than I sold.
Okay.
That's entrepreneurship, right? You
Yes.
don't make money every time, but you learn every time. You expand and you grow every time.
Yeah.
And then the last 2 times I've been out, I've sold out. So I had to hurry up and make new boxes because I have 6 more opportunities to be in person.
That's a good problem to have, right?
No,
I'm saying, but you're selling your product,
Yes.
but you still have to, keep going. And man, that's awesome.
Yes.
So what other, you have any events coming up? Like in the next couple months, or you just kind of take it every few weeks?
Well, I do. So I am with the Black Night Market, which happens the last Friday in Tacoma at the LeMay Museum. I believe that's what it's called. So I'm there July and September, and then I believe I'm doing 2 more events with the Black Love.
Yeah, they're personal friends of mine.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, good peoples.
So 2 more with them. Then I've been asked to come as a guest down in Portland, Oregon for an event. So I'm busy.
Yeah.
I'm busy.
Yeah.
I am excited. I really am excited. Yeah. And I also wanted to say, part of the busy got me here and it got me in front of you. Being busy is good. Yeah. It's better to not be sitting at home wishing I could start a business.
Right.
I think it's pretty exciting to be in it, even with like not knowing what to do all the time, or how do you finance it, or who do you talk to, or how do you market it.
Yeah.
All those things. And I think Seattle is a rich place for Black businesses to really figure out right now how to get themselves out there. Like what is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to curate? What is it that you want to cultivate? But I think it's a really good time to be starting a business in the Seattle area.
Yeah. Now, where are you from originally?
From Portland down the street.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you're in either Portland or Seattle, you're either up the street or down the street.
Down the street, yeah. Our sister city. Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to Portland. And how long have you been living in Washington for?
Well, I've been living in Washington since 2000 because I moved into Vancouver, which is the southernmost city in Washington. So the Vancouver, USA, not Canada.
Right.
And then I've been in Seattle, Renton area since 2017.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm still new. I'm still building community.
You say you're new?
Yes.
So what? I was going to say this is home now.
Yes, and I think one of the gifts of coming to Seattle is that it is robust enough that you need to be a bit creative around creating community for yourself. And so if you move here and you sit and wait for people to come to you, that's not hospitable. I think that part of your role in moving here is seeking out and creating space for yourself to be in community. So I think that I've been doing that for the past 5-6 years, and I think now it feels like, okay, people know who I am by name. Yeah. Even though I know everybody by face.
Yeah. Right on. She's like, I know by face, but I'm like, hey, we've met before. Yes. I don't know your name, but I know we've met before.
Yes, exactly.
So where do you see your business at in the next, we'll say 5 years? I know that's an open-ended question. Like, do you see yourself still doing what you're doing right now, or exploring a different avenue, or?
Man, the deep breath came from people have a vision for me and what they believe I should be doing.
I don't know, so I asked.
And so I have, it's been suggested that I could do multiple different ways of helping or partnering with other businesses to grow my business. And I think I can't figure out which part of my business I want to grow, if it's the box business, the coaching business, or the equity consulting side of my business. So I think in 5 years, I'd like to be solely living off of money that I make for myself and not having to work for somebody else. So I think that's the goal that I see for 5 years, but I'm not so sure what it looks like.
Okay. Equity consulting.
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Because I had no idea. What's up? How did you get started with that?
So I work in a field that is predominantly white, middle class, and female. And I had some experiences that just did not land well. And in my way of advocating for myself, I started to create a platform where other people invited me into conversation to help them figure out too how they could do things differently. So in the last 2 years, with the organization that I previously worked with, I was able to influence some policy work, some changes in our organization, some systems work. I also had an opportunity to start doing some national speaking, and I published some work in the last couple of years around how do we do things differently, and really like bringing the conversation down to plain folks. Sometimes I think we get so lost in the weeds around equity conversations, when essentially we need to start with how do we be in conversation with each other, right? How do we celebrate who we are and our gifts, strengths, and talents, and find commonality there, and move away from things that can be quite so divisive. So I've done a lot of work around that, which is a different approach to equity work.
Yeah. But you enjoy it?
I don't think I enjoy equity work. I think it feels like, I'm a social worker. I have a master's in social work, and I started off as a counselor.
Okay.
Had this, I worked in prisons and decided at some point that wasn't a good fit and shifted out. So justice work is important to me, and I believe that we all have a responsibility in our communities to be advocates, to speak up for things that we see, to use your power to make a difference. And so I think that I do it because I have the skill to do it, but it doesn't feel fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did that make sense?
It did.
Okay.
It did. I was just listening, and I was in a daze. I was like, man, why couldn't I have teachers that were that cool and counselors that were that cool?
Because you're now cultivating space for those people now.
Yeah.
Right? Like I think maybe appreciation for people and what they offer now is because you didn't have that exposure, and so now you're creating space for people to have a voice and a medium to be able to get their message out. So you're doing it now. You could pay me the fee at the end.
I was just about to ask you that. Oh man, that is so awesome. I was going to ask you if I can hire you for an event I have in October coming up. You'd be wonderful to have. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Hey, before you leave.
Yes.
Let me see. Did I ask you what you have coming up in the next couple months?
You did.
Oh, I did. I'm sorry. This has been such a good conversation, man.
It's okay.
Hey, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So, how can people reach out to you if they want to order some boxes or they want to see what's on your schedule? Can you tell the wonderful folks at home
how they
can get in touch with Miss Chisa?
You can find me on Instagram at RPL Treasure Box, or you can find me at my website, which is www.repurposedliving.com. You can also put in Repurposed Living LLC, and I pop up in several different places. So, yeah.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
And then we'll also put that in the link in the video, and because I know I'm going to have a lot of people like, she's so cool. Oh, can you introduce me to her? She's like that cool cousin that you got, and like you want to, just talk to her and pick her brain. But thank you so much, Chisa. I was really looking forward to this interview.
Thank you.
Because, like when I first met you, I was just kind of like drawn to your energy, and how you can meet someone and it feels like you've met them before. And that's why I was asking you, like, now what's some of the people in your family's name, or where are you from, and this and that, because you were just that kind of person where you just had that energy where I just had a good vibe about you, so then I remember like I'm looking at your stuff, and then we just start talking about life, and it was cool. It was automatic. It wasn't forced. It was just like, man, I really like her, and I root for people like you who are taking time for others. You took a step out on faith and became an entrepreneur, and you're not just doing something for the money. You're doing it for the lives that you affect, and you enjoy that even more. And I can see it. So thank you so much for taking time for us little people at Seattle Connected. And thank you guys always for watching and supporting. And remember, please, it's important to take care of others, but please take time to take care of yourself. Until next time, stay connected. Peace.